A group of terrorists captures a French journalist and takes him deep into an isolated cave. As they lock him in a cell, little do they realize that this journalist is not who he appears to be. He is, in fact, an undercover secret agent named Adam Franco, known for his ruthless and cunning nature. His mission: to free a fellow reporter, Sonia. Soon, a terrorist enters Adam's cell, offering him water, but Adam swiftly dispatches him with a single lethal move. He then disarms the other two terrorists, igniting chaos within the cave. With his exceptional skills, Adam eliminates all the terrorists. However, his mission is far from over. In a shocking twist, he has been tasked with two objectives: to obliterate the terrorists and, shockingly, to assassinate Sonia instead of saving her. Without hesitation, he carries out this brutal directive. Meanwhile, in Paris, a series of devastating terrorist bombings shook the city. The news reaches Marconnet, France's security minister responsible for national security. According to reports, the mastermind behind these attacks is Mokhtar al-Tayeb, a Sudanese warlord with ties to the most powerful mafia figure in France, Victor Pastore. With urgency, Marconnet orders his subordinate, Kruger, to handle the situation, and Kruger entrusts the mission to his best agent, none other than Adam Franco. Meanwhile, Adam is in Tunisia, enjoying a quiet lunch when he catches a news broadcast about Sonia's disappearance. Following this news, he receives a coded message instructing him to return to France. Without hesitation, he boards a flight back to his homeland. Upon arriving in France, Adam makes his way to a safe apartment. There, he meets with Kruger to discuss his next mission over a cup of tea. Kruger hands him a dossier containing critical information about Mokhtar and Victor. Adam's primary target is Mokhtar, while Victor will serve as bait. The mobster's long-standing friendship with Mokhtar makes him the perfect lure. Adam's initial task is to infiltrate Victor's household by posing as a new employee, digging up every shred of information to uncover Mokhtar's whereabouts. Adam won't be alone in this mission. Kruger has also dispatched Cisco and Mona, two skilled operatives who will assist him in the operation. With Kruger's briefing, Adam's mission officially commences. The next day, Adam seamlessly integrates into Victor's world as a new employee, setting the stage for an intense, high-stakes mission. In addition to Adam, another individual named Karim arrives at Victor's mansion on that fateful day, warmly welcomed by Yusuf, Victor's right-hand man. After submitting their personal information, Adam and Karim embark on a guided tour, attentively listening to Yusuf's explanations. During the tour, Yusuf introduces Adam to Manu, JB, and Bogdan, Victor's fiercely loyal associates. Meanwhile, Victor is in a meeting, wearing an oxygen tube that he hastily removes when Jacques, one of his subordinates, enters his room. Jacques urgently requests leave to care for his son at home, leading Victor to grant his plea. Curiously observing Jacques from a distance, Adam catches the attention of Manu, who inquires why Jacques chose him as a replacement. Adam's response, stating that Victor needed protection, inadvertently offends Bogdan, Victor's bodyguard. This disagreement escalates into an impending brawl, but with a single swift punch, Adam effortlessly incapacitates Bogdan. The commotion reaches Victor's ears, prompting the mobster to scold Adam. Subsequently, Victor instructs his henchman, Pee-wee, to escort Adam back to work. Elsewhere, Jacques arrives home, only to be greeted by Cisco pointing a gun at him, with Mona holding his son hostage. It becomes evident that Jacques has been framed by Kruger to facilitate Adam's infiltration of Victor's mansion. To eliminate any trace, Cisco and Mona drug Jacques and his son before concealing them. After securing the father and son, they retreat in their van, where they continue to monitor Victor and Mokhtar's activities. Later on, a phone call is made, and Cisco and Mona intercept it, tracking the caller's voice. Shockingly, the voice belongs to none other than Mokhtar al-Tayeb, the ruthless figure now in France. Mokhtar's mere presence instills fear in those around him, and his whereabouts remain an enigma. In his secret hideout, he collaborates with a man named Yashin, who assists him in his sinister endeavors. Shifting back to Adam's perspective, he is partnered with Pee-wee for their next assignment, obtaining the floor plan of a bank from a banker, a crucial element for a future bank heist. Pee-wee, visibly nervous and apprehensive, hesitates when facing the banker. Growing impatient, Adam takes the lead and, in a daring move, brutally breaks the banker's hand. After relentless pressure, the man reluctantly handed over the requested floor plan to Adam before facing further brutality. In gratitude, Pee-wee extends an invitation for a drink, and they end up at a club owned by Victor's wife, Natalia. As they enjoy their drinks, chaos erupts outside the club instigated by Ahmet's henchman. Ahmet, a bitter enemy of Victor, and his crew intentionally create a disturbance that leads to a confrontation with Sofiane, the club's security guard. To aid Sofiane, Adam and Pee-wee engage in a fierce altercation with Ahmed and his thugs. The violent altercation from the previous night infuriates Natalia, resulting in a heated argument with Victor, ultimately affecting their son, Jonathan, who witnesses his parents' dispute in silence. Victor instructs Jonathan to accompany Adam to school, but before they depart, Helen, Victor's eldest daughter who detests her father's criminal empire, intervenes. She takes Jonathan with her, leaving Adam to return to his apartment. However, moments later, Victor summons him. Before entering Victor's residence, Adam discreetly attaches a tracker to one of Victor's cars. Upon meeting Victor in his room, the mobster is deeply impressed by Adam's capabilities and expresses gratitude for his excellent work. Victor instructs Yusuf to investigate Adam's background, leading to a startling revelation. It is reported that Adam, as a teenager, had killed a member of the House of Representatives when he was just 15 years old. Despite this revelation, Victor accepts Adam as an integral part of his organization, extending beyond the role of a mere driver. Having gained Victor's trust, Adam offers to serve as his bodyguard, but the mobster, while declining another bodyguard, assigns Adam the responsibility of guarding the club until Sofiane fully recovers. Additionally, Adam is tasked with safeguarding Jonathan, an assignment he cannot refuse. When Adam picks up Jonathan from school, he witnesses the young boy being bullied by a peer, unable to defend himself despite his Mafia lineage. Seeing this, Adam approaches the bully and swiftly ends the altercation with a flick to the nose, breaking it. However, Helene remains distrustful of Adam, even after he intervenes in protecting Jonathan. She forcibly takes her brother, leaving the secret agent with no choice but to let them go. Helene retrieves her brother's belongings from the car, accidentally stumbling upon Adam's file. Intrigued, she pilfers the file and is shocked to discover that Adam has a history of killing people since the age of 15. His past includes the fatal shooting of a member of the House of Representatives, who had harassed and killed his younger brother. Meanwhile, while on guard duty at Natalia's Milord Club, Adam unexpectedly spots Natalia in conversation with Ahmet's associates. The scene then shifts to Mokhtar, who is plagued by a recurring dream of his wife's death and the false accusation of terrorism by Marconnet. In this traumatic incident, his young daughter was also shot. Since then, Mokhtar has transformed into a terrifying and vengeful figure, harboring deep resentment against Marconnet and the French government. Upon waking from his haunting dream, Mokhtar kneels in prayer, seeking solace in his faith. Shortly after, Pee-wee, revealed to be Mokhtar's cousin, Hassan, visits him, and they engage in prayer together before strategizing their mission. It's Jonathan's birthday, but instead of celebrating, Natalia is absorbed in her own world, leaving her son feeling lonely. Fortunately, Adam arrives just in time, bearing a gift, a punching bag. He encourages Jonathan to practice self-defense to fend off bullies. Later that afternoon, Pee-wee unexpectedly invites Adam to join a robbery, promising that it will be their most challenging mission yet. Before departing with Pee-wee, Adam decides to bug Victor's room discreetly. To divert suspicion, he invites Jonathan to play hide and seek in Victor's room. However, Victor enters the room and nearly discovers Adam. Not willing to take any risks, Adam unplugs one of the listening devices. Victor contacts Mokhtar, informing him that the robbery is set to commence soon, with a portion of the stolen money intended for the terrorists. Meanwhile, Cisco and Mona, upon learning that Victor's men are planning a robbery, discreetly tail them. Upon reaching the bank, Pee-wee and his associates are tasked with infiltrating the bank, while Adam stands guard in the getaway car. The heist begins successfully, and they swiftly return to Victor's mansion. However, they unexpectedly encounter Ahmet's men, leading to a tense confrontation. In the aftermath of the confrontation, Cisco quickly comes to Adam and his comrades' aid by opening fire on Ahmet's men. A fierce firefight erupts, and with his exceptional marksmanship, Adam prevails over all his adversaries. Elsewhere, Minister Marconnet pressures Kruger once more to fulfill his mission. Kruger pledges to bring down Mokhtar al-Tayyib without delay. Meanwhile, at Victor's mansion, they divide the spoils of the robbery. Some of the ill-gotten gains are allocated to Pee-wee to support Mokhtar's needs. Observing this transaction, Adam becomes increasingly convinced of Pee-wee's close association with the terrorist. Adam decides to tail Pee-wee. Before pursuing Pee-wee, Adam encounters Natalia and advises her to take Jonathan with her. He foresees that Victor will eventually discover Natalia's collaboration with Ahmet to thwart the robbery he had masterminded. While Adam tails Pee-wee, Natalia receives a call from Ahmet, who feels betrayed by Natalia's actions. In response, he violently assaults Helene and abducts Jonathan. To secure her son's release, Natalia attempts to persuade Victor to hand over the stolen money. However, her pleas fall on deaf ears, as Victor staunchly refuses to ransom his son with money, which goes against his principles. Natalia, infuriated by her husband's stance, goes on a rampage, convinced that Victor doesn't care about Jonathan because he's not his biological son. In stark contrast to her parents, Helene takes swift action to save her brother, contacting Adam, and believing that he will come to their aid. Adam is willing to abandon his mission to save Jonathan and take Cisco's weapon to assault Ahmet's hideout. Meanwhile, Cisco maintains his vigilance, awaiting Mokhtar's arrival. As Adam departs, he spots the terrorist leaving an internet cafe but is tragically killed by Pee-wee. Adam infiltrates Ahmet's heavily guarded headquarters by disguising himself as a drug addict. After gaining entry, he pretends to purchase a substance, subsequently eliminating a guard. Moving upstairs, he springs into action, systematically neutralizing Ahmet's henchmen. The sound of gunfire attracts a swarm of additional thugs, leading to a ferocious firefight. Adam emerges victorious, dispatching the gang members with ruthless efficiency. Despite sustaining injuries to his abdomen, he staunches the bleeding and persists in his mission. After securing Jonathan's release, Adam rushes him to safety at his own house. However, upon arrival, he succumbs to unconsciousness, experiencing vivid dreams of his recruitment as a secret agent by Kruger. Upon awakening, Adam realizes that his mission remains far from completion. Helene, who stands by his side, pleads with Adam to take a much-needed rest, concerned about his worsening abdominal wound. However, Adam's determination prevails, and he insists on pressing forward, unwilling to squander any more time. Elsewhere, Mokhtar pays a visit to Markanat's residence and leaves behind a secretive envelope, the contents of which remain shrouded in mystery. Meanwhile, Adam heads to the internet cafe where Mokhtar was last seen. Reviewing the CCTV footage, he becomes increasingly certain that Cisco has fallen victim to Mokhtar, especially as the agent can no longer be reached. Frustrated by his failure to apprehend Mokhtar, Adam vents his anger and blames himself for the outcome. Soon after, a group of police officers arrives at the internet cafe, mistaking Adam for a wanted terrorist. However, after he provides his secret code, they release him. Unbeknownst to Adam, Yusuf had reported his presence to the police, convinced that Adam was a secret agent. Yusuf trusted his instincts and believed Adam posed a threat. Returning to his apartment from the internet cafe, Adam is surprised to find Helene waiting for him. She appears concerned as she observes Adam's worsening abdominal wound and has brought medication to help him heal. As Helene tends to Adam's injuries, elsewhere, Mona grows increasingly anxious as she fails to contact her teammates. However, she intercepts a conversation between Yusuf and Manu. In this conversation, they reveal that Victor has discovered his wife's betrayal, and Yusuf has called upon their associates to eliminate Adam. Markanat summons Kruger once again, informing him that Mokhtar has threatened to expose a secret document, posing a potential legal threat. The situation escalates, with Yusuf and his comrades preparing to carry out their plan to eliminate Adam. Back in Adam's apartment, Yusuf and his associates are poised to strike, but just in the nick of time, Mona intervenes, feigning a need for a lighter before launching her attack. Tragically, Mona sustains a fatal injury to her neck. In her dying moments, she conveys to Adam that his cover has been compromised. Upon learning this shocking revelation, Adam springs into action, determined to track down Pee-wee and confront the escalating threats. Arriving at the designated location, Adam enters a former hospital building where he finds Mokhtar and Pee-wee engaged in prayer. Without delay, Adam shoots Mokhtar in the leg, believing him to be a terrorist. However, to his astonishment, it turns out that Mokhtar is not a terrorist but a victim of a frame-up orchestrated by Markanat and Kruger, falsely labeled as a radical due to the greed of the French government. Mokhtar is in France to care for his comatose daughter, who had been shot by French soldiers and is scheduled for surgery. After hearing Mokhtar's heartbreaking explanation, Adam's heart softens, and he allows Mokhtar to be with his ailing daughter. Tragically, Kruger's forces suddenly arrive and gun down Mokhtar in cold blood. A fierce firefight erupts, pitting police against police rather than the Mafia against law enforcement. Adam chooses to protect Pee-wee, convinced of his innocence. The two of them manage to get Mokhtar's daughter to safety and divide their roles. Pee-wee distracts the soldiers to facilitate Adam's attack. While Adam engages in combat, Pee-wee takes his niece to an awaiting ambulance. Eventually, Adam catches up with them, and they successfully escape the perilous location. In a shocking twist, it is revealed that Victor had murdered his own wife, and he meets his end at the hands of Kruger. Simultaneously, Minister Markanat faces a crisis as his friendly relationship with Mokhtar becomes public knowledge. Pee-wee manages to escape from France with his niece. After Victor's demise, Kruger relentlessly pursues Helene, as he has been tasked with eliminating all of Victor's family members, including Helene and Jonathan. However, Adam intervenes and confronts Kruger, resulting in Kruger's ultimate demise at Adam's hands.